Okay, so this is going to be lab 6-4. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And then I already have the UARC server pulled up, so I can just open Excel. Okay, so now we want to load the data. So we'll go to data, get data, and then we'll load it from SQL Server. And then we'll type in the ESS. And then the database is going to be WCOB Dillards. And then we want to expand our advanced options so we can type in the SQL statement. And then I'll just type that in provided in the textbook. I think there's supposed to be space here. Maybe there is. Okay. Okay, so this is what we want to select from that SQL Server file. That way we're not pulling in everything. And then we're going to select it from the transact table. And then we'll group by tran date and tran type. And then we'll order by tran date to make sure there's no typos. Okay, and then we want to include relationship columns to make sure that's checked. And we'll click OK. And that should load. Perfect. So as Dr. Lanero said, we need to go ahead and edit this. This is the correct data, but we just want to change how it's formatted. So we'll just click edit. And that'll take us into the query editor. So we'll make sure this column's selected, and then we'll go to transform. And then there should be, oh, pivot column. Okay, so then we'll drop this down, and then we want to do a mount for our values. And then we'll click OK. Okay, so now it's showing our data as returns and then purchases. So it's just a little easier to view. So now we can go to home and then we can load this into our Excel. Okay, so then over here it says we have 100 or 1014 rows loaded, which is what we want. And then we can just select all. Oh, these are already spaced out. Okay, so now our data is loaded. So now we can go ahead and insert a pivot table. And then for our range, we'll just select all of it. Okay, so it's just going to be called query 1. We'll do new worksheet. And then we need to add it to the data model. And then we'll click OK. Perfect. So now we have a pivot table. We can delete this worksheet. So now we need to add Power Pivot, which I don't have. So we'll go to File, Options, Add-ins. And then down here, COM add-ins. There we go. Yep. And then Power Pivot. Okay, so now we've added it to our toolbar. So now we can create a new measure. And then for the measure name, we're going to go ahead and change this. We want to do returns over purchases. And then our formula is going to be, we want to do the sum. This. So we want to do the sum of the returns divided by the sum of the purchases. Okay, so that is our formula. And then we want to make sure that the category is general. And then we can click OK. Okay, so now we've created this over here, and then we've created our measure so we can build our pivot table. So next we want to drag this measure. Oh, it's already here in values, so that's good. So now we can drag trend date into filters. And then we also want to drag it into rows. Okay, so now here we can get rid of this. We can get rid of the quarter, and then the month we want to move to filters. Cool. So now we have monthly trend date and filters, trend date in rows, and then returns over purchases in values. All right, so now we have this little table created. So what we want to do next is change this to only be January. So we want to just select January, we can filter out all of the other months. So now it's showing just January for all 3 years, 2014 through 2016, and then the grand total. So now we want to copy this table. Just right next to it. Okay, so now we have 2 tables, and then we can filter this to be all months except January. And that way we can compare January versus all the other months. Okay, so now we can change these headers to make it a little easier to read. January versus rest of year. Okay, and I need to go ahead and add in that analysis tool pack as well. So we'll go back to File, Options, Add-ins, go. Okay. Maybe I need to click in the table. Okay. Let's see, it's in a different area. Okay. I don't know why mine's not adding, but I just tried to add it. File options, add-ins. Okay, it says it's added, so not sure. Where it would be. Yeah, it should be over here next to outline, and it's not. So Okay, so without that add-in, this is as far as I can get. So I can make a part 2 video if I'm able to add that on, but it looks like I don't have access to do that. It says it's added here, but it's not showing in my toolbar. So yes, this is as far as I can get. So that concludes lab 6-4. And again, I will upload a part 2 if I am able to add that last add-in. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and thank you so much.